Hello YouTube, my name is Dana, otherwise known as Troubles Bricking, and welcome to my AFOL life this week, September 24th, 2021. Sorry if I'm a little hoarse. I've been trying to fight a little cold this week. The weather's getting nice here in Georgia. It's cooled off. It almost feels like it cooled off quicker than I was expecting to, but I'm sure we'll get late summer or second summer or Indian summer, probably late October, where it'll warm up again. I'm almost guaranteed positive that that's going to happen. But let's get just right into this AFOL week. And we started off the week on Saturday. I guess that's kind of how I'm doing this, if I'm doing it on Fridays. So the beginning of my week starts on Saturday for my AFOL life. Saturday we had our first peach lug meeting in 20 months. So ever since the pandemic started, we've been meeting virtually online at least once a month, or official meetings every other month. But this was the first time we actually felt like we were safe and confident enough that most people either were vaccinated, had shots, or at least understanding the social consciousness of us all. So we decided to go ahead and have our first physical meeting. We're also going to have another one probably in November. We typically have been meeting at a library in East Cobb, which is about an hour away for everybody, because everything in Atlanta is at least an hour away from everything. So it's a good centralized location for most people to meet up to, and so that's where we go to. I'm not seeing the comments stream on here. What am I doing? Let's see, am I on the wrong thing? Stream settings, stream health, messages, analytics. Well, probably because there's no current viewers, so I'm not really quite sure. But, so if I miss a comment along the way, just post it and I'll try and answer it later. But that all being said, let's go ahead and jump into this week. As I said, we had our first lug meeting. And before the lug meeting, since we had some visitors coming up from Florida, two of our lug members live down there. If you're AFOLs of YouTube, you would probably know Bricksmith, Julian, or you may even know Brick Jams, Jamie. They both took like a 4-hour drive to come up and meet with us, which is insane and crazy. But at the same time, I love it when I see them, because they're great. They're great people to have around. Lots of fun. Always entertaining to have them. And we decided that we were going to, since they were coming up, we would go ahead and meet for lunch ahead of time at a little barbecue joint around the corner, which was really good. I was really surprised. A little hole in the wall. You got to like it when you walk into a barbecue place and there are trophies all over the place, because that usually means that they've done a pretty good job if they're coming home with competition trophies for their barbecue. So we met for barbecue, and I found a very great text message just shortly before the meeting that someone was coming up. And so I got to actually have this little screen share here. There he is, Mark of Fallworth, or Mark Erickson from Lego Masters Season 2, excuse me. He and his brother Steven were the winners. If you haven't seen it by now, spoiler alert. It was great to sit and talk to him. He had this hysterical Chima shirt on, which was really funny. I keep joking that I do need to get him a Next to Nights t-shirt, which I think I'm going to have to make that happen sooner than later. Along with that, so here's a quick shot of the meeting itself. I did a little selfie. You can see we had a pretty good turnout. We had about 21 members, about 3 guests, and I think we had like 3 kids that came along with their parents. So it was a good turnout. We were really excited. The sad thing was, is I cut off Jamie and Julian. They're over here in the corner here. I was trying to get Drews in because he very rarely is seen in a picture, so I felt like I needed to add him in there. One other cool thing about the meeting is I was able to go ahead and stop at our local Lego store in Alpharetta and pick up my Monochrome Habitats that were had been on display. So I was able to bring those and the other 11 that I've been working on, and was able to show those to everybody. So I was really excited to have all of these together for the first time. It was a lot of fun to get people's reactions who hadn't seen them all together. We had a couple of guests who didn't even know anything about it, and so it was really cool to get their interactions and talk about that. So I was really excited to have that happen. And I'm going to hopefully try to talk about more about these as time goes on. Maybe I might do an episode where I talk about individual habitats that I've done in the past. I'm going to probably try and talk about more of the ones that I'm doing as I do them, but maybe I'll go back and talk about the ones that I've done in the past. So that was what was going on this week for the lug meeting. Other than that, We didn't really have a whole lot of Lego news this week, which was kind of good. The only thing I thought was entertaining is that there's going to be a new minifigure book that's coming out from DK that'll have an exclusive Rockstar minifigure with it, and that'll be coming out in June of 2022. So that's about, literally almost like 10 months from now or 9 months from now. So I guess that's probably par for the course. You give it 9 months before you release something with teasers and stuff like that. So for acquisitions, nothing this week. Nothing. Got no new sets, no new Bricklink orders, bricks and pieces. Didn't grab anything off the Pick-a-Brick wall. So no acquisitions this week. So in some ways that's a good thing. In some ways it's sad. So Pocketbook was happy, but I'm sure I'll fix that later this week or next week. So time will tell. So into the builds for this week. So let me switch screens again. Oh, what? Jack? Jack wants out of the room. Hold on just 1 second. All right, Jack, go. Sorry about that. When you have 5 cats and some of the litter boxes are in your office, it's weird they come in and they hang out. So anyways, I was saying, builds for this week. First thing, I showed you guys on last week that I got one Bricklink order in, and so it gave me some pieces to work on a couple of my habitats. So with that being said, I'll show you the first one I worked on. This would be the medium Azure Monochrome Habitat. And first and foremost, when I saw that I had the skis and the poles in medium Azure, I knew that I had to do a skier for this color. I know that the natural thought would have been use white for a skier, but I really wanted to use the surfboard when I did the white one. So for the blue one, which would have been more logical for water, I did skiing. So I switched them up. The interesting thing about this is that the bottoms of the skis don't have a stud connection point, so you really can't attach the skis to any bricks. They're literally just smooth on the bottom with like a little pinhole. So I had to get creative, and I used a 1x1 brick with it's like a headlight hanger or whatever they want to call it, or oftentimes they're used like for side mirrors or connections like that. I used one of those on the back side of his leg, and then two hinge plates connected to it, so it locked into one of the walls to give that effect of him flying down off through the air onto the ski slope. So I was really happy with the way this came out. Very minimalist compared to a lot of the other ones I've done. I didn't want to add a whole bunch of other details around it because I really just wanted to show off him hanging there, getting ready to fly down the mountain. The other mono habitat I did was light bright orange or flame yellow or friends yellow, as some people call it. This one again was one of those ones where it's weird because there's not a lot of pieces in this color to do some interesting things with. So I kind of was stuck with, all right, what am I going to do? And a lot of these habitats have come across with, it's always been the minifigure accessories that kind of dictate where things are going to go. And I've also been trying to not duplicate anything or any feel that Kaz Mockett did in her habitats. So she had done a sea captain kind of thing with the rain hat and poncho kind of feel from some of the hidden side sets. I was like, well, I can't do that. And I knew there was that helmet from the Nexonites, and I didn't realize that I had a blank snowboard. And I was like, oh, this is great. And then I found the flame pieces, and I was like, oh, it's not going to just be, a snowboard. It needs to be a hoverboard or a jet board or something like that. And so from there, everything kind of took shape, and I thought, all right, well, he's going to be flying across some alien landscape. We'll throw down all sorts of plants and weird bubbling, popping ooze from the ground. Throw in a yellow crab, we're good. Throw some discs up on the walls and some stars and kind of give it that space feel. And I was really happy the way it came out. I do have a bit of contention, though, the fact that we've got a radio in this and he's wearing a helmet, but that's just an old school thing. It's funny that we had these minifigures in the 80s and in the 90s where they were wearing helmets and they were using a walkie-talkie in space. That doesn't make any sense. You're not going to be able to talk through, your helmet's going to block all the sound. No one's going to hear you screaming in space. So maybe I should have thrown like a 1x2 on the front of it to make it look like more like of a PDA kind of thing that has an antenna on it. And actually, now that I think about it, that's probably what I will do. I think I've got some tile, 1x2 tile that I'll throw on top there to kind of make it look like it's a computer screen or a handheld recorder of some sort, so it doesn't look like a micro, or he's using a walkie-talkie in space. So, additionally, for builds this week, I got to work on some of the bricker builds stuff. So actually, I should change screens here. We'll go back. Look at this guy. I got to build a power-up mushroom for Mario Brothers. Now, technically, you can go to Bricker Builds and find the instructions for this, kind of, because they had some issues with some licensing, so they can't really market these as Mario Brothers. So it's like Italian Plumber and accessories, I guess is what it is. So if you go on there and you go on brickerbuild.com and you go looking for Mario or a power-up mushroom, you got to find them under Italian Plumber and Accessories is where you'll find it. But this guy is really cool. I love the eyes on this. There are some snot techniques that they had done to lock them in to give that great looking little effect, and using those little micro toilet seat covers is what I call them to do the eyes is really cool job. And it's very solid. I actually made this to where it actually would come apart in two, but because the clutch was so good that I couldn't find where I had left it unglued. So it's kind of interesting. I probably should tell Christopher about that before he accidentally opens it up thinking that it was solid completely. But I did take acetone and glue 95% of the pieces together, so it's solid. It would hurt if you got hit with it. The other thing I also worked on was their Mjolnir for Thor's Hammer. I didn't have to glue this one. They wanted this one unglued because they're doing some photo shoots, I think today and tomorrow, where they're actually going to be breaking some of the hammers and breaking some of their Captain America shields with some super high def cameras from some great slow motion explosions of these models. Why? I don't know, because Americans love to see things explode. I guess that's probably the best answer I can come up with. But so luckily I didn't have to glue this one. I was able to crack it out, and actually without having to glue it, I was able to build it probably within about 3 hours, I would say, give or take. I take breaks along the way, so it's not like I'm sitting there for 3 hours straight. But I would say it was probably about a 3-hour time slot to build the hammer there. So that was the extent of the builds this week. But I've since turned around and gave. Christopher came by yesterday, picked up the hammer, picked up the mushroom, so I don't have them here to show you physically anymore. Although I do still have my hammer that I did build. These things are great. I'm gonna get to the right. Yeah, just block myself there. You can hear me. Fantastic hammer, very solid. This is not glued, and you can shake it, move it around. It's very well constructed. It'd probably even more solid if I was to glue it. And I'm hesitant to do that because maybe I'll take it apart one day. I don't know. Or if maybe my moving might be easy. I don't know. I don't see myself taking this apart. So I probably could just go ahead and glue it. It'd be kind of cool to have. And it does come with this little stand, which is kind of nice, so that you can drop your hammer down. Boom. Shen needs a little plaque down there. He who's worthy can pick this up, kind of thing. The last thing I built this week as well, while I was on some conference calls, and I know that the space fans out there are going to be like, what are you doing? What's going on? I did go ahead and pick up the Castle 3-in-1 Creator Set and went ahead and built this while I was on the phone for work. It's pretty slick. I'm really pleased with how it came together. It's a little fragile to pick up because the whole thing has got hinges and little connections to lock into place so that you can actually change it around and connect it to the other things. So if you buy more than one copy of the set, also comes with a cool little wyvern, which is nice, like that. He's got a little flame coming out of there. It's kind of super posable, kind of like it. Could have been a little bigger, but for the size set, it's about the right size you expect. My intention is to now take it apart and recolor it to make it look like Nexonites, just for fun. And actually, I grabbed a second one so I can make it a little bigger. Probably take some of the rumbling castles and the Nexonite castles from additional pieces and kind of give it a cool thing. I've never built a castle before, so I'm curious to see how it's going to work. I may have to reach out to some of my castle buddies and say, hey, what do you do to do this? But I am definitely going to add in the drawbridge here. I thought that was a pretty cool little technique that they've done there. I guess it's pretty common amongst castle builds. So I'm definitely going to do that. So that was all for this week. Next week, I still got to finish my Friendship Timber Vic Viper. That's my next thing I got to do. I'm probably going to sit here this afternoon, maybe work on that a little bit in studio, flesh out some ideas, and then probably build that over the weekend and have that ready for early next week. I'm hoping to get in a Bricklink order. I know my Bricks and Pieces order is going to be probably another 3 weeks before that comes in. So hopefully that Bricks and Pieces order will come in, or Bricklink order will come in, and I can actually build maybe 1 or 2 more habitats. I'm also starting to design a few more habitats digitally, so I can start ordering some pieces for those, specifically like dark green, dark brown, sand blue, aqua, I think is another one that I need to do, and lavender. I'm not quite sure what to do with that. I did build the magenta one digitally today, and I'm going to order some pieces for that, because I thought I was going to have enough pieces to do it, but I kind of came up with an idea, and I'm like, I'm going to order a few more things. So that one's going to be another Bricklink order. So I'm going to try and build those other ones digitally too, to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, maybe order enough parts for 3 or 4 habitats at the same time, as opposed to trying to just do 1 or 2. Other than that, I've also got to... this was... So when Christopher came and picked up the hammer and the mushroom, and we were talking, and I was supposed to be building a 322nd helmet, and I also had pieces for a Rex helmet and a Maul bust, and he's like, we don't really need those right away, so why don't I go ahead and take those back if you don't mind? I'm like, that's fine. I really was just kind of dreading doing that 322nd helmet, because it's a lot of little pieces, and to glue little pieces, it's not as easy as gluing the bricks. Like the mushroom, crack that out in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, easy, no problem whatsoever. Little plates gluing together, it's tedious and it's just not fun. So he said, let me go ahead and take that back. But how would you like to build the Italian plumber? And I was like, ooh. So he needs that in the next 3 weeks. So I'm going to try and get it done in 2 or maybe a week and a half. Probably crack out an hour a day or so, maybe 2 hours, depending on what time I've got. Conference calls are perfect for building these things. Unfortunately, I got cats running around this office from time to time, so I try not to leave things sitting out for too long. So I try to build them in the right way so that I can put things away easy without cats coming in and messing things up and getting cat hair and everything. So that's going to be the big plan for next week, is to be working on the Molnier. So that brings us to my last segment of the show, which is the rare part of the week. Should I do the same thing that I do on Old Gray Bags? Rare part of the week. Yeah. Anyway, so the rare part of the week this week is a dark tan 1x1 cone with a groove on the top. I'll give a little closer view of that right there. And you're probably thinking, why is that rare? How is that rare? I mean, it's a little cone. I mean, they come in like every color, just like the studs, right? Not so much. The dark tan 1x1 cone came in 1 set and 1 set only. And it wasn't even a set that regular people could get. It came in the 2018 employee exclusive 40 years of Lego minifigure set. So this was the Christmas giveaway set that went to Lego employees and Lego affiliates. So like I'm a LAN ambassador, so Lego ambassador, so I got a copy. Most of the recognized fan media groups, they would have gotten them as well. So like your Boone Langstons and Beyond the Brick and those guys, they would have gotten copies of this set. And if you're wondering, well, what set was the dark tan 1x1 cone come in and what it looked like? Because maybe you don't even know what the 2018 employee gift set looked like. So here it is. Here was the box. This was actually when I was building it. I think I actually built this on Christmas Day. I'd gotten it probably a week beforehand, but I wanted to save it to open it till it was Christmas. And so here it was, open in the box, numbered bags, just like a normal regular set. However, they used kind of the Ideas clamshell box so that you could reuse the box instead of having the tabs on the end. Numbered bags, just like anything else. And so the set that year was this mega figure of Santa Claus being pulled by a reindeer, and the reindeer's antlers, if you can see here, are where you can find those 1x1 dark tan cones. And that is the only set that they have come in. And that, and the only reason I figured this out was because I was building the dark tan monochrome habitat. Sorry about that cold going on. And I had one in my inventory, just one. And I'd used it for some hinge brick area for where the little door was coming out on the habitat. And I was like, why do I have just one of these? And then I went looking to see, well, what set did it come in? And I was like, oh, that's why I only have one of these, because it came with four to build the set, and then it came with one extra. And so that's how I got one still sitting in my inventory, because the set itself is down in its box, ready to be brought out for Christmas. So again, one of those weird things that, Lego decides that, hey, we're going to use this part in a set that isn't going to anyone else in the world except for Lego employees or Lego affiliates. And that's the only way you can get that part. I think on Bricklink, I think there's like 2 for sale in Hungary, I think, in Hungary. And they go for like $7.50 a piece. And they've only got one. Or, each seller's only got like one, and they're like $7.50 for just that one piece. So very strange, rare brick. It still boggles me that Lego does that. And we'll catch these as we go along. I've got quite a few little rare tidbits about parts that I've run across. Specifically started out when I was doing classic space sets and reparting some of those together. There were some interesting pieces that were in very few sets, in a lot of space sets. There was also a lot. I've also been finding when I've been doing these colors for the monochrome habitats, I'll find all sorts of weird one-off color pieces. I'm like, oh wow, why is that part so expensive? Oh, because it only came in one set. So I'm going to continue on that. Next week, I think I'll go back a little into the Wayback Machine. We'll do a classic space piece, and then we'll bounce back and forth between old and new pieces to show you that Lego has been doing this practice of rare pieces for years and years and years. So that brings us to the conclusion of my AFOL life this week, September 24th, 2021. And as the great Fazoom says, be awesome, build awesome, and love your neighbors. And for God's sake, go out and get a shot or wear your mask or something like that. Please click like and subscribe. Ask any questions you want in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them, or I will answer them in the following week's stream. So have a good week, and I'll talk to you guys later.